So I watch a lot of combat footage, especially on the subreddit combat footage that is really pretty cool in the fact that they're constantly uploading videos from Ukraine. And most of them focus on the kind of trench warfare that's occurring in that country, the battles, and also sometimes they'll share videos from Myanmar where there's a lot of fighting that's happening in that country as well. It's a pretty cool subreddit because of the fact that most of these videos would not be able to be uploaded onto YouTube. They would be immediately flagged and taken down as they would violate YouTube's guidelines. But also, I like watching a lot of historical Iraq war and Afghan war footage that's uploaded onto YouTube. Now, there are a couple channels, I think like Funkers is a good example of a channel that uploads a lot of kind of Afghan war and Iraq war content of like showing Marines, Army, Special Forces fighting battles with the Taliban, and also in Iraq fighting in like street battles and firefights, and also IEDs, explosions, all this type of historical footage that's really great to watch. But with all that said, I think one of my newest favorite channels is JD. This channel shows a lot of the kind of life that many soldiers lived in Iraq at that time in 2003 and to 2004 to 2005, of really early on fighting the insurgency and really the kind of day-to-day life of being a soldier in that environment. One of the coolest videos, and I think one of the most popular videos that he uploaded on there, is Lunchtime in Iraq 2004 to 2005, and you see the type of food that they're provided with, and the soldiers kind of make this choice of, and you kind of get this great narration from JD and from this other soldier, Scott, who's a really entertaining individual. And that's what I really like about this channel, is that it doesn't necessarily focus on the violence that occurred in Iraq, but just the day-to-day life of a soldier in Iraq. And I like it when he kind of sporadically uploads videos showing more footage from that period of time. And the thing is that I think that I would love to find more channels like this, in a way, the channels that show the experiences of soldiers at that period of time right after the invasion of Iraq, because as of the making of this video, 2023, it has been about 20 years, more than 20 years, since the invasion of Iraq, in the sense that now that we're looking back on that war in the past, we're sort of seeing it from these type of home video style videos that came out at that time prior to YouTube. So what we're seeing is really the first type of vlogs that were not at that time popular, but now are being uploaded onto the internet, either on YouTube or other platforms like Reddit. And I really wanted to kind of push this, put this question out there: are there any other type of military channels that upload this type of content? Because if you have other channels that are like this, please recommend them in the comment section down below, as I would highly appreciate that, because the fact is, like, we're looking at historical footage from the perspective of just the average soldier. And that's what I really appreciate, that, because growing up I liked a lot of documentaries that came from the Vietnam War, because there's so much footage from that war that was taken from the NBC, the ABC, many news organizations that covered that war. Especially, there's a really great amount of footage online from the time the Tet Offensive occurred, and you see the kind of interactions that the reporters had with the soldiers and the day-to-day life of soldiers in that period of time. You also do get that a lot from World War II footage, gun camera footage, footage of Marines fighting in the Pacific, and U.S. Army soldiers fighting in Europe. But I think it's a little bit, obviously, a lot limited because of the kind of camera technology that existed at that time. And we're seeing a lot more footage, obviously, from the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, and from the Iraq War, with the kind of prevalence of these very cheap and easy to use cameras that were very much easy to purchase and use at that time, camcorders and stuff. So it's cool, you know, growing up, and when I was like getting introduced to kind of YouTube, seeing a lot of that content being uploaded by veterans of the Iraq and Afghan war. And I think that it's really, I don't know, it's something that here we're seeing a war that's in the quite in the past now, of course, 20 years, where it was the type of warfare that they experienced, the day-to-day existence of being in this extremely hot, unbearably hot country that was Iraq, and also being in these kind of high altitudes that was the mountainous country of Afghanistan, and fighting in that type of content, fighting in that type of country, and uploading and filming that type of content onto YouTube years later. And I really do appreciate a lot of the veterans, as they have, you know, documented important events, important historical events. And again, if there's any sort of other channels that are like gems that people haven't discovered yet, please let me know, because I would love to see more of this type of footage. It's always like great to see this type of just unedited, or not unedited, but very basically edited videos. Because on JD's channel, it's not like there's inclusion of music, there's like, you know, fast cuts and stuff. It's very bare bones, and it's uploaded in a way that you get to see a lot of this historical, you know, historical footage. And I really appreciate that from his channel. I think it's a fantastic channel. I highly recommend it. There's only about, I would say, 8 videos as of the making of this video, and hopefully he'll be able to upload more stuff that he's found from his past, of like having been touring in Iraq, and maybe some stuff in Afghanistan. But yeah, I mean, this video is just basically calling for people. If you know any other channels that are like this, that have this type of military-esque content, please recommend it in the comment section down below. I would love to see more of this type of stuff. It's very interesting to watch documentaries about it, and watch documentaries about like Vietnam and World War II, but it's also just great to see the perspective of the soldiers from themselves, filming themselves and their interactions with other soldiers during those types of wars. It's always great. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and yeah, take it easy.